Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. And our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. And the website at allamericangold.com. And, well, you know what? It's a hump day. And I'm going to tell you right now, gold rallied back today. Silver rallied back. Can't go up every day. So yesterday we had a nice little sell-off. Not a lot, $10, $15. And all of it's all back today. Gold $18.67, up $13. Silver's up almost 25 cents, $25.15. The Dow's down 170 points today. I don't know if you can put any stock into there was earnings out. Walmart and Target had really good earnings, but I don't know, apparently not good enough as their stocks were selling off a little bit today. I think everybody's worried about inflation. Yesterday, I paid over $4 for gasoline. That's the first time in at least that I've lived in Arizona. Of course, I've lived in Arizona for 30 some odd years. The first time I've ever paid that much for a gallon of gas. And the bad part is this is supposed to be the cheap time of the year. As you know, obviously right around Thanksgiving it bumps up because of the holiday travel, but the winter months are supposed to be the cheap months. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. The Biden administration, listen, a lot of mistakes as to why energy prices are so high. Apparently, there was a phone call yesterday with Xi and China. They're talking about both of them releasing oil from their strategic reserves. All of that, just a lot of smoke and mirrors. The Cushing, Oklahoma supplies are near record lows, and that's really the problem. So we'll have to, until that improves, I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm joined this morning with my co-host, Jason Walker. Jason, up there in Colorado. Jason, how's it going up there?
It's busy.
Is it cold there yet? Is it snowing there yet?
It's below freezing right now. Yeah, so there was a little dusting on some of the areas around Johnstown here, so there's nothing significant. But, yeah, it's below freezing, and it's that time of year. I mean, by the time December shows up, it's cold every day and some level of cold. So it's the warm days of November, what was left, are probably pretty much behind us.
We have not cooled down. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still like in the 50s when I'm driving to work in the morning. But the ski resorts up in Flagstaff, they've got snow machines, but it hasn't snowed. It's not cold enough. They've had to push back there. They're not going to be open because there's not enough snow on the ground. Listen, I just hope it snows in the right place in the Rockies so the Colorado River can hopefully get some water in it.
Well, I guess time will tell, Joe. There's definitely some water problems going on.
I know. We don't just roll that in there, right? That's like the last thing we're going to need. There's a lot going on out there. We're going to do our best, though, to try to keep you in the know as you get ready for the holiday seasons. I've got, and I normally don't do this, but I've got an item we've got to go quick because they're not going to be out there very long. I've got 50 $20 gold pieces. Here's the thing right now, $20 gold pieces, $21.95. Gold, like I said, gold's up $13 today. Last night, I made a deal with the largest wholesaler. He took off $23. I said I would match it, and we came up with a new price. So today, even with gold up, I've got 50 20s at $21.50, and he's telling me, listen, these are solid, a bunch of different dates. So, thinking about Liberty's 1866 to 1907, the lead pipe lock of the week. We just got lucky. I want to get them out there to you as quickly as we can. 800-951-0592. The reason being, If we sell through these 50, I may be able to get 50 more before the show's out. It just depends. So this is kind of a motivational thing here. If I sell for this guy, he's going to offer me some more, and then I can get some more, and then we can sell them all day long, Jason.
Yeah, why not? I mean, buy now before Thanksgiving or buy after Christmas. I have a feeling the prices are going to be a lot higher after Christmas, Joe.
Well, right now, from a technical standpoint, that's what it looks like, right? Right now, gold and silver, the chart patterns say that. You look at supply and demand. It says that as well. Out on our website today, allamericangold.com, the Lombardi report, and he does a lot with silver, but he started talking about gold this month, and he's got a price target at $3,000, saying that early 2022, get ready to see gold prices back at its all-time high at $2,100. And that's just what it looks like. That's kind of an easy call from a chart perspective. One of the big catalysts, though, and we don't talk about it all the time, central bank buying, India and Brazil. When you talk about the biggest countries that aren't part of, the G7, the G8, right? When, it's not the U.S., it's not China, it's not Russia, France, Germany, England. The two big economies outside of that are India and Brazil. And they are absolutely hammering and loading up on physical gold, which is just going to be another catalyst as we go by, Jason. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Again, 50/20s, $2,150. That's $45 off. Again, gold up about $13 this morning. And I just want to point out, if you can go to All American Gold and read the article for yourself, but third quarter, another 69 metric tons bought by central banks. India leading the way. India's got a long way to go. So India and China, big time rivals competing with each other. India has now got 745 tons of gold in its reserves. You think about this. This is a country before the financial crisis that essentially had no gold. Remember, their first big purchase, they bought 200 metric tons from the IMF. Jason, I don't know if you remember that. When the IMF was selling some gold, India was the largest purchaser. But you think about what India's been doing over the last 15 years or so, and this year really stepping on the gas. And I think really all an attempt, because they already know what's coming. I think China knows what's coming. Brazil, the second largest buyer as well. Brazil's holdings year to date are up 92% just in the first three quarters of the year. So they're not just making small moves, Jason. They're making big moves.
Yeah, you used to call them the brick. Remember we used to talk about the bricks, and they were all buying gold.
You're right?
Yeah.
And the brick countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, right? They were the brick nations. Of course, now China's kind of separated itself, right? China's emerged here. Hey, they're they're on the scale of the United States. And I think you're going to see India adding hundreds of metric tons of gold to its holdings, and I think that's going to be consistent over the next 5 to 10 years, and it may even go faster than that, depending on how much time it is. The level we're looking for, here's why this is so important: $1,900. This is a psychological level. It's actually not that important, but it's still important. Gold breaks 1,900. There's in the charts here, there's a stopping point in the 1960s is from a charting perspective, because you got to remember, listen, a lot of this is traded by computers. After 1960, Jason, there's really not a lot at all. There's some, a couple of numbers here or there, and they'll invent some on the way, but there's not a lot stopping it from 2100. And this is kind of what Lombardi was saying. Listen, if we break 1900, you're going to see $2,100 soon. And now soon doesn't mean a week, right? You're probably, if we break 1900, my guess would be within 60 to 90 days, we're probably more than likely, and we don't know what all the news events are going to be, but more than likely we're going to see those all-time highs again. And, of course, then if you break the all-time highs, right, normally what we see when we break all-time highs, anywhere from $100 to $200 above that before there's any type of a pullback. So buying here at 2150 and saying, hey, you know what, and within the first quarter of 2022, barring some weird news that we're not expecting, we're probably going to see spot gold at those prices.
Yep, and then the premiums will push the price higher, and then we'll be talking 2,300 gold, 2,400 gold.
At that point, you're probably looking, $2,400, $2,500. And my guess would be we're going to have those same shortage problems and all the things that we've been having out there. So it's a really good opportunity here. Like I said, yesterday we had a nice little sell-off, the first down day in gold in a while. And today it came right back, took it all right back. And again, I think it's just waiting for the next shoe to drop here for 1900. And then when we break 1900, things get a lot more interesting, a lot faster. Tyson Foods. So we talked about JBS the other day, and JBS saying, hey, listen, we're at capacity. We can't slaughter any more than what we're already doing because they don't have enough help. Tyson Foods came out and said, more price increases coming. It just doesn't seem like it stops. The biggest U.S. meat company by sales. So you got JBS, Tyson, said that chicken prices rose 19% in their fourth quarter, and that was the good price. Beef prices up 33%. Pork prices up 38%. We expect to take continued pricing action to ensure that any inflationary cost increases that our business incurs will be passed along. I think that's probably the most strong statement I've heard yet. They just basically said, listen, any cost increase we get, you're getting it, Jason.
Yeah, this is going on all over the place, and I'll say this: we didn't touch on it, but Biden on Monday passed the whole, hey, we're gonna fine you for leaving your containers on the coast. After 1 week, if you look how it's set up, that's gonna be $144 million in fines on week one. And all of the companies, and these are the middle range, maybe some of the smaller companies that have containers there, Joe, they just said it out loud or real quick. We're passing on the cost to our consumers. That's the only thing we can do. So on and on and on, Joe. And I think when people look back at 2021 through without the fake numbers of calculating inflation, I think you can see 50% inflation is kind of like an average for all kinds of products, all straight across the board. Because here you're talking about Tyson 19% in 1 quarter. So what's the year over year? Is that going to be around 50%, Joe? That's
you know what? Yeah, I don't know. They didn't give year over year. I think what was important there is what the CEO said. And again, we're getting all of this stuff out of their earnings report. So just to give you an idea, Tyson Foods said they booked a profit of $1.15 billion, which equaled $2.30 a share. So they beat earnings by about 14 cents. Revenue, 12.75. They said it was 12.81. So revenue kind of, that's like in line. So overall, Tyson Foods shares are up 26% for the year. And their CEO saying not good enough. Where any cost increase we get, We're passing it on. And he already said we've got, well, I gave you the numbers, 19% in chicken, 33% in beef, and 38% in pork. How high can these prices go?
I think the profit taking will slow down, Joe, when the buying slows down. So as long as the buying is strong, they're going to profit take and they're going to pass on the expense that's going up to the customer. So I don't think you see any discounted chicken and turkeys until people slow down on the buying, Joe.
You know what? That's really a good comment. When retail sales collapses, that's probably when you're going to see it. And of course, that's the problem with inflation. That's how it works. Hey, we're going to keep passing it along until eventually we run out of money, right? And then all of a sudden, demand no longer outpaces supply, and then we'll get the price break. Of course, by then it'll be too late, right, Jason?
Yeah, it'll be too late, and at least there is some competition out there for different meat producers. There's a couple of big ones out there, so when the demand drops a little bit, one of those big guys will be like, well, maybe we'll lower our price first, and that's usually good for us. We're just with these multi-conglomerate companies, Joe. It's harder for them to discount and take less profit because there's less competition. They kind of, I think they call each other on the phone secretly and discuss how they want to keep their profits up, Joe, as long as they can. So it'll only last so long, Joe, because there's like you said, there's only so much money that can be filtered into what's happening.
Wow, I'm just reading. The Congress is working on the new child tax credit, the budget reconciliation package. So Janet Yellen announced yesterday, hey, we're going to be out of money again December 3rd. I want to say it was December 13th. So remember, we don't have a budget. The debt ceiling needs to be raised. We had this going back into October. They said, hey, let's make it December, right? So they could go and take vacation and do all that stuff. Well, now here we come, and we're less than a month away. And what part of what the Democrats want in the child tax credit, right? Remember, right? We're giving everybody with kids money. We want to give them free free child care from 3 years old and 4 years old, right? Because again, it's just we've got to subsidize you having children. Inside of that, there's $10.5 billion for all immigrant children that came through the border illegally. That includes 600,000 unaccompanied minors that came through the border, Jason, in 2022. And again, you just think about this, and you're like, well, there's another $10 billion in handouts. Where does it end? And this is why everything's costing so much.
Well, and look, with anything in Washington, the federal government, they it's kind of a shell game, and they did pass this new stimulus, which has over $700 billion in sort of slush fund. What are we going to do with that money? And why do I get the feeling they're going to push that December date back into January with some of that money, Joe? They got it.
Yeah, and again, and we're just seeing all the handouts that some of it we know about, some of it we don't know about, and we're wondering, how is everybody affording all this stuff?
I think it's a stimulus every couple of months, Joe. It's a stimulus every couple of months.
It never ends.
Yeah, we'll pay for this thing, we'll pay for that thing, and don't worry about the extra $700 billion. That's how we're going to push the thing back a little further until that comes to an end too, Joe. So, I mean, when does that come to an end? How many more stimulus pushbacks is what I'm looking at?
Yeah, I don't know. I've lost track. I don't even know how many stimuluses it's been. And that's bad when I can't even tell you. I mean, I know we sent 4 different checks. I know we got all these other things, all these handouts, and don't pay your rent, don't pay your student loans, right? Don't pay this, don't pay that. Oh, wait, you just showed up here unannounced. Here's some money for you. And, oh, wait, you know what? People can't afford child care anymore. Here's more money for you. And, hey, let's double the child tax credit. Let's send everybody $300 a kid. I mean, it just doesn't stop. 25% increase in food stamps. And this is just off the top of my head.
Wow. Yeah, there you go. How many times can you say how broken things are before the sheeple out there actually wake up and look around and say, wait a minute, this doesn't look right. But there are more people waking up, Joe, but it seems like it has to be a catastrophe before everybody figures it out.
Well, and that's the problem. That's what happens, right? Because they hide it from us. We don't realize what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, right in the middle of this huge inflationary cycle, we're talking about all of these things that are just going to continue to add to the problem. And it's just off the charts. Now you got the Biden administration today making headlines because they're trying to get oil prices down. They're now saying they're going to look into oil and gas companies because, well, you're making money. And gas is too expensive, so get ready to be investigated. It's absolute nonsense. The reason why it's so expensive is because you're not giving them money to go out and find the oil. I mean, it's just that simple.
Yeah, the attack on oil is really going to cause a lot of damage in the rest of this year. But next year, Joe, and the year after, that's as this Biden does the new Green Deal behind closed doors, it's going to make things really rough on everybody.
Right. It's a Radio News Hour. Yes, the great leader, Joe Biden, doing wonders for our economy. We'll be right back.
Wishing for a Christmas mortgage miracle? Patriot Trading Group wants to make your wish come true. Just enter to win on Family Values Radio website, and you can enjoy having your mortgage paid for a year. That's right. It's the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest. The winner will receive their mortgage or rent payments covered for a year. To enter, go to FamilyValuesRadio1010.com and click on the banner. Enter once each day to increase your chances to win, and look for bonus entry opportunities. That's FamilyValuesRadio1010.com. And enter the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Contest, sponsored by Patriot Trading Group. See our website for details.
800-951-0592. We still have some of those 20s. This is the lead pipe lock of the week. I promise there's not going to be a better deal out there. $21.50 today on $20 gold pieces. 800-951-0592. I've got a couple lines open. I got all the girls here, so we should be able to get through you really, really quickly. One other thing I want to point out. It looks like the Biden administration is getting ready to do another one of these mandates, this time on the booster shot. Fauci was talking again yesterday and saying, you know, again, right? We what they told us the vaccine was, it wasn't. Right? It doesn't stop the spread, doesn't stop you from getting it, and apparently now, if you got the shot, you know, 6 months ago, it's no longer effective or not nearly as effective. I just saw some new numbers now. The hospitalizations, it's all unvaxxed. That was, go back 90 days ago. 95% of hospitals are unvaxxed. Then it went to Colorado's been using this 80% number is unvaxxed. This morning, we got a new number. It's down to, now they're saying it's 70% of the people hospitalized are unvaccinated, and that number keeps going in the wrong direction for them. I only bring that up because we'll cover, we got other programs on 1360 to talk about that stuff. But I bring it up on this show for a reason. Let's not forget what the Biden administration is empowering OSHA to do. I don't know how OSHA became the health police. That was not what it was intended for. Again, these overreach. It's just like, how did the CDC put a moratorium on rent evictions, right? We're seeing this government creep. And I'm going to tell you right now, we've already seen the horrible implications it's had on the hospitals, on the police, on the fire departments. Starting in January, OSHA's going to start attacking these small businesses with more than 100 employees. And Jason, I think it's really easy to figure out what's going to happen. products and shortages are going to get even worse.
Yeah.
Right now, there's less people. It's going to make the problem worse.
Everything that is happening is I don't know if it's dominoes falling and it's just nothing they can do, or if or if it's completely planned out. With the coronavirus and all the nonsensical policies around it, you got to think it's a purposeful thing. I mean, Joe, it's so ridiculous. We have the National Western Stock Show coming in January, and I'll play the piece of the news maybe in the next hour, but it says it's kind of an outdoor, not really an outdoor, not really an indoor. There's seating, but then there's not seating. So they have some mandates and stuff, but that lasts until December's up. But it's January. So the news is like, well, it's not known if you're going to have to be vaccinated to attend next year, but the people bringing in the livestock, all of their animals have to be vaccinated for COVID to have their animals there. Have you ever heard such a thing? The animals have to be vaccinated for COVID to bring them to the stock show and be presented at the show, Joe.
Well, I mean, again, and it doesn't end there. I think we're going to see all of these things that add to, it was bad enough when we shut everything down, right? And then gave people trillions of dollars. And then, of course, causing the inflationary cycle. And we kind of wondered then, when is this thing going to end? And now we kind of we're finding out, not anytime soon, right? The vaccine, unfortunately, not what was advertised. It's going to now we need the booster shots, which looks like now that's going to be added to the mandate. And then starting in January, I guess, this OSHA enforcement and the fines between $13,000 and $130,000 per offense. Now, I don't know how they delineate what one you get, but obviously businesses that are near 100 people, my guess is they'll figure out a way to get below it. But there's, the businesses out there there's no way they get below it. They can't fire that many people. I mean, what are we talking about here, right? Are we going to have a situation where all of a sudden 5, 10, 15, 20% of critical areas quit their jobs and then create just this horrible nightmare? I mean, we already know how bad the ports are. I saw a thing where they're talking about, well, maybe we won't make truckers do it, right? Because that's their big, it's a trucker problem. It's not a trucker problem. I'll just tell you that right now. But could you imagine if all of a sudden the Port of LA, 10% of the people walked off the job?
Yep.
I mean, how many shifts would we have out there then?
Joe, we have, I think we have a central bank that's salivating mightily to get this digital money system in place, because then when the arms of control hammer down, they can just take it from your account. Well, here's a $10,000 fine. Well, I only got $2,000 in there. Well, we'll start with that. Boom, it's gone. Sure is a good case of why you should have gold. Something outside their system, Joe.
I will say this, the power of the digital currency really would end this, right? If they want us all vaccinated and we had a digital currency right now, we'd all be vaccinated, I promise you.
Or you'd be living in the street.
Unless you're willing to live, because most people just wouldn't be willing, right? Hey, I can't access my money. They've frozen my account, which I can't pay my rent, I can't pay my heating bill, I can't buy food, right? I've got to comply. And this is always, my biggest fear has always been with the digital money. I talk about like Bitcoin and all the Ethereum and all the rest. It's great. It's a great technology. I think they're all going to be worthless, but I don't know. They could revamp it into something else. But the fear had always been the technology that's behind it. Right? And people start talking about social credit scores. Hey, you're saying things we don't like. Right? Boom. We're just going to put a lock on your account that has your digital dollars in it. I'm going to put a lock on it for a few days, see if you can straighten yourself out. Right? And then if that isn't good enough, and that's the scary part. And, of course, I'll say, oh, no, we won't do that. We'll never do that. Well, they also said that they weren't going to force vaccinations, yet here they are, right? Again, they always say we won't do this or they won't do that, but when the time comes, they'll absolutely do it. Patriot Radio News Hour. I know, right, please? Can't even believe I'm saying this stuff. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592, $20 gold. Well, I still have some $21.50. It's $45 off. I had a deal yesterday with the largest wholesaler. He knocked off $23. I told him I'd match it. He wanted, hey, let's get some business. Let's do it. Then, of course, we had gold snap back today. So you're saving $25 a coin, or I'm sorry, $45 today. 2,150 at 800-951-0592. Man, I don't even know where to go. UBS, if it is a stagflation scenario, and we don't know yet, right? It's still an if. If it's a stagflation scenario, 50% drop in stock price, Jason. That's what they're estimating. Stagflation just means the Fed is going to have to raise rates aggressively, right? We're not, we brought this up the other day. What if it's not a quarter point, half point? Because I don't think that gets it done. And especially if we're going to start having workers stop worrying. A lot of people, you can't, people just can't quit. Yeah, they can, especially the ones that, hey, I'm already in my 60s, right? I'm in my late 50s. I've got enough. People are surprised. There's plenty of people out there that are actually good with their money, and rather, hey, I don't need this job, and I can and leave these jobs. We can see things really get out of whack here, and it just looks like, anyway, the surge now, I saw now Michigan and Minnesota and all these other places surging again, Jason.
Yeah, I think the bankers looked at the 1970s inflation and that emergency economically, and the rates went real high. People had, mortgages at 20 and 25%, back then. And I think they see a missed opportunity. Man, if we had the power we have now back then, how much money could we have made?
Well, in that way, you're right. They didn't have the control of the media like they do now, right? So they're able to hide it a lot better, aren't they? Because let's face it, inflation is just as big today as it was in the 70s. We just don't calculate it the same way. Right now, if you use the way they were calculating inflation in the 70s, which was, back in the 70s, they actually tracked actual inflation, we'd probably be talking about 15% inflation right now, Jason. Instead, they're saying, what was the latest? They said 6.4 or whatever it was. I mean, that's more than 50% less than what it actually is. I mean, look at what Tyson Foods CEO said. Listen, 19% increase in chicken in the quarter. And that was the best one.
That's right.
30+% in beef and pork.
Yep, that's right, Joe. And what I think when they reset this thing, because it's broken, and there's going to have to be a reset. And when they reset this thing, I think 10 to 30% will be the rates, Joe. 10% interest rates, 15, 20, 25, whatever it takes to reset it. And the only ones that will benefit from that are those at the top. And now you're talking catastrophe for everybody else.
Well, I hope that's not the case, but it is. I don't know what stops it here. I mean, I'm looking around. I'm seeing all the things that now on this budget resolution, right, on the debt ceiling, right? They've already kicked the can down the road. So could they maybe extend it one more time and say, okay, well, we're going to go till, I don't know, January 31st, maybe.
Yep.
But it sure seems like we are going to get another walloping of government handouts. And again, just all at the wrong time.
Yeah, it'll happen again, Joe. And they want to pass the other part of this thing, so that might give them another, it just depends on how they want to take the fake money and how much value it still has when they're throwing it around to push it down a few more months. But yeah, sometime in December, sometime in January, sometime in February, sometime in March, this is all coming to a head. It's happening.
Yeah, and it's one of those things I don't think a lot of people really understand, all the things that still haven't been resolved that have nothing to do. This isn't the Biden infrastructure, that other plan of his. This is something totally unrelated to that. And again, there's still, like Jason said, you still got that bill to work on, right? So there's still trillions of more dollars of spending coming. And at a time when, you got Janet Yellen out there saying, oh, the only reason there's inflation is because there's a lot more demand.
Yeah, and something, Joe, I wanted to say about these gold pieces we're selling today. And we're talking about how we'll see record highs, very soon in the spot price. The gold market's not like the equities. It's not like the stock market. It's a very much smaller place, and there's a big strain on actual physical gold and silver. So yeah, Joe and I were talking $2,300, $2,400, $2,500 for that $20 gold piece we're selling today. But if everyone jumps in because one of these nightmare catastrophe situations start to unroll, those premiums, Joe, that you could be paying $600, $700, $800 above spot just to get the gold piece if there's none available, Joe.
Well, and here's the problem. Just like Silver Eagles, what is my price on Silver Eagles today? There is no price because I don't have any. And I think this is, and this is the same thing you see like in the gold markets. You may be down to, as to Jason brings up a great point, the only gold you may be able to buy, it may be mint state gold. That may be the only gold that's out there. Well, and again, and all of a sudden you're paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars more. I not only do I think that's a possibility, I actually think that is what is likely to occur. I think we're going to see a big move in gold. I think you're going to see this thing kind of hit its head here after the holidays are over and into January. And I think you're going to see a mad dash into these physical markets again and creating huge premiums. So get in before it happens. 2150 is a deal of a lifetime if you're talking about what we think is going to happen in the next 90 to 120 days. We'll be right back. Final segment coming up. Final segment here, 800-951-0592, $20 gold, $2,150, save $45 today. And I'm elated that we can do that for you. Just a couple of other things. We got Thanksgiving coming up next week. We will be closed. Patriot will be closed Thursday and Friday. So we'll be closed Thanksgiving Day and the day after. And so again, the time, the ability to put stuff away. And again, remember, I warned you what was going to happen if we broke 1830, and it happened. Now I'm warning you again. We break 1900. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to the new we're going back to the all-time highs, and we're going. Gold's going to go well beyond that, but and I don't like talking short term because to me it doesn't matter that much. But we know. Listen, they kept it undervalued for a year. They did. How did they do it? Well, they controlled it and promised us that all this money and all this spending wasn't going to hurt anything. We weren't going to have inflation. They lied. They knew this was going to happen. I'm convinced of it. I don't think this is a policy error. Now, the policy error they're making is right now because they're still not doing anything about it. And they don't plan right now on doing anything about it until after the summer. Right? They're talking about, well, maybe we'll raise rates a quarter point, September, October. Right? Maybe we'll do it 0.25 points. That's not fighting inflation. And again, I think we're going to see significantly higher prices because of that. But here in the shorter term, That's a big difference. Buying gold at below 1,900 and talking about buying gold at all-time highs. That's going to be. It's just your dollars are buying less and less, and everything you're buying. It buys you less beef. It buys you less pork. It buys you less toilet paper. It buys you less automobile. It's going to buy you less gold and silver. Get it put away and be able to put more of it away because you did it today. I mean, buying, as an example, let's just say, hey, you're buying 10 20s today at $2,150. If we're talking about gold back at $2,100, that same amount of money, you're probably only going to get 9. You may only be able to get 8 ounces instead of 10. And to Jason's point, could get really out of it, could be 7.
Yeah, Joe, I really do see that if there's a rush to the gold physical market, that we could have, let's just say, spot price at $2,100, and we might be selling $20 liberties at $2,750 or $2,800. Because when everyone rushes to it, it's just not going to be there. And if the spot price doesn't keep up, the premiums will just leave it behind. And you'll be paying $3,000 on $2,200 spot price. It can happen. I know people might think that's crazy, but that's basically what silver's been doing for a year and a half, 2 years, Joe.
We've been doing it in silver all year long. So 800-951-0592. I normally don't push this hard, but I'm just all the things I look at. This is one of the easier calls to make, I think, anyway, of where gold's going to be in the next 60, 90, 120 days. 800-951-0592.